The manhunt for Charlie Kirk's assassin continues, and we are right now tuning into the press conference happening in Utah with the governor, with Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel. So let's tune in and see what they are saying.
We're going to bring you back here just a couple of minutes ago when they started the press conference. They discussed the shooter's position on the rooftop. That's where we're going to start this out from, and then we will roll from there.
Great.
If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video, and I'll narrate as we walk through that. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. Important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive t-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information. Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grassy area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right.
I think they had an audio dropout.
After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the t-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. If you'll go to the next picture, please. The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again, the t-shirt. Blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out. We'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation.
I was really hoping they're going to have answers tonight.
We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Governor Cox.
I don't know if so for those who are just now tuning in, we're hearing about this video they're releasing of the suspect, who they say is the assassin, and they did say earlier, before we press play, that they're not taking questions.
We have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, I'll just give you a little warning. We will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have. But I do want to share a couple things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov. This is, I would just say, this is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. I will just add as well that, as was mentioned, there is a lot of forensic evidence that is being processed right now at both the state lab and the and federal labs, federal lab in.
Just want to say thank you to everyone joining us.
So
thank you for coming over from IRL. I know they were watching this press conference. We're tuning in. It's good that we see some new footage. It's good that we understand why, you know, they said they had those palm prints from when the suspected assassin jumped off the roof. It looks like he kind of hurt himself after that jump, to be honest. Reminds me of...
You ever jump off a roof in a pair of Chucks?
Oh, dude, it's brutal. It's brutal. There's no cushion in those. There's nothing.
We used to do it to Concrete all the time because we'd hang out in the garage and just jump off the roof in your Chucks. That sucked every single time. That hurts.
That hurts. We find out that he ditched the weapon in the wooded area after the parking lot, and it does, I gotta say, feel a little helpless, you know, this far after getting this information, because we know how much could happen with the suspect in the time since it's happened. I was really praying that we were gonna have some answers, like someone actually in custody. Unlike yesterday, we had 2 people who are already out. But, you know, so much can happen, obviously, with these assassins, with these killers. When they are on the run, they can change quickly. Everything. But that said, now that they are showing this, getting it out more, hopefully there are other people out there who are able to grab video with this guy somewhere in the background. There were thousands of people there. And maybe any other information, any other image, anything could help at least track. Let's see what, wait, is Cash not saying anything? Oh, wow, I'm actually pretty surprised.
Just heard the...
No, we didn't. We didn't just hear anything because your audio cut out again.
Pretty surprised about that, to be honest. I'm glad they're there. I'm really praying that they catch this guy. It makes me even angry. I woke up. Well, I didn't wake up. I hardly slept. But when,
I had a hard time sleeping last night.
When the sun came up, I was so much angrier. I didn't think I could get angrier. Just for everything. So angry. Really couldn't sleep. Just paced around. And it feels unreal. It feels very unreal. But I was, I don't know, I was hoping to hear from Cash or Dan. I guess that was it. But we know now how many they've gotten. 7,000 tips. That's the most they've received since the Boston Marathon bombing. This whole thing still seems extremely orchestrated and planned. I don't know, obviously, who's behind it. Wish we did. But just everything to getting up to the roof, the shot, getting away, what I believe was a decoy with that guy who got arrested, just seemed like he was there to help slow down the process.
It was clear and present that he was there to interfere.
Yeah.
What's unknown is whether or not he was a part of it or if he made himself a part of it.
Right. That's gonna be hard.
We've seen a couple of instances where people made themselves a part of the situation. There's a guy in after the shooting initially is one of the only people standing in the middle of the crowd with his arms raised in a V, and he's cheering and looking around.
Right.
And there's speculation that he looks back in the direction of the shooting. Well, yeah, I would bet that he did, but it doesn't know that he knew the location of the shooter. But everybody there heard where it came from. You know,
I received some messages from people from the area today who know people who know that guy. He's like been excommunicated from churches, and he's known to be kind of like a local crazy. So it's very possible that he's just a psychopath taking advantage of a bad situation. You know, we've seen the video of the guy cheering as Charlie was shot, which is just completely depraved. We've seen videos of, I mean, there's just like after Butler, there's a billion theories. You know, like people were even questioning the veracity of the video. I believe the video, but people were questioning the ring and how it was moving.
The ring moving to the pinky.
But but there's footage of him playing with a hinge ring at a lot of other events that opens up.
Yeah. So the ring is the last thing on my mind.
Yeah, there's people talking about the people making hand gestures behind. It looks like they're doing calls, but then you could see those people allegedly, as far as I can tell, helping carry him out.
Yeah.
You know? But we kind of have to dissect everything. Everything. That's what you do. I mean, look how long it's been since JFK. We're still dissecting that footage.
Yeah. There is also speculation that he was wearing a bulletproof vest of some sort and that this was a ricochet. There's already several videos that I've seen out there that are debunking that. There's several different angles of him sitting there with his shirt, and you can see his chest through his shirt physically. So it does not, there is no magical thin plating under that T-shirt that he's going to be wearing, I don't think. So I think we can call that one out.
For sure. And when it comes to the orchestration behind all this, I'm not just talking about the shot. I'm not just talking about the getaway. I'm also talking about like what it means to, like the thought that went into this to do it on the day they did it, knowing that the president of the United States of America would have to be public today on 9/11, knowing how close Trump was to Charlie, knowing that obviously went into the planning of this. This wasn't an arbitrary date.
Well, now here's the other thing. If this is the local cuckoo,
right?
You know, of some small town somewhere, suburbia,
right.
MIA America,
right?
What's the possibility that he didn't plan any of it at all and just said, "Oh, hey, there's an event. I'm going to go kill Charlie Kirk."
Entirely possible. For me, I don't have a bone in my body that makes me think that that's the case. They might try to pull that case. They might try to tell us that. But when it comes to this kind of high level public assassination, he's still on the loose. I have a hard time believing it's just a crazy person getting away. The Mangione thing, he got away for a little bit, but it was like walked up.
But the circumstances behind that were also really peculiar because he gets seen at a McDonald's.
Right.
I mean, that's like a UFO showing up at the Pentagon, and it's like, hey, what's up, flick flick? You know, like I just that doesn't make sense to me.
Me neither.
Like, why you would get away with doing something like this and then get caught at a fucking McDonald's? Like,
right.
You know, I don't know.
I know. You know, just look how we were talking about the '60s last night, and you know, I grew up hearing from my grandparents or from my parents talking about everyone remembered where they were when they heard JFK was shot, and everyone believed mostly in Lee Harvey Oswald, and how much we've learned in the decades since, and surrounding a lot of these other giant tragedies. They're very complex. Sometimes they are just a lunatic. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've talked about my own experiences in my town where I grew up, where a lunatic went up and just took out someone like horribly.
And this guy was firing a 30-06, according to what I saw.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. That thing would take down a full-size elk.
Yep. Yeah, it's no joke.
So 30-06 is, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't require skill to shoot this, but this he went with a rifle that's going to be fairly accurate and fairly deadly with one shot. And I think that's part of the reason why one shot was fired. Now, knowing that also suggests that this guy was proficient with firearms and knew exactly what he was doing. So the argument could be made either way. I don't want to jump to speculation is my whole thing, but yeah, I'm half in agreement with you, Shane, as I'm leaning on that side. Is there's just a lot of really weird shit that happened here,
and like in my gut, this is my bias. Yesterday, I'm warning everyone about just being suspicious of anything that confirms your bias when it comes to the news. I'll get to that in a second. In other ways, but in my bias, clearly, I don't trust a lot of this elite class in our government that we know has a history of doing things like this. And we still don't really have answers to it, but we can look at all these declassified documents, interviews, and whatnot, and learn about things they planned. I talked about Operation Northwoods last night. Clearly, JFK was something insane, just totally insane, with, I think, a lot of different things involved. And you could say from Mossad to the CIA and a conglomerate of evil that it took to pull off something like that. And we had a great guest on this show a few months ago, and we broke down the Zapruder film and how just that piece of evidence, how that's morphed over time. The original Zapruder film, it was like hardly anything, when the public first saw it, and it's been digitized, enhanced, added to. You look into the history of it and the chain of custody of the video, who Zapruder was, how it got to the CIA. Perhaps there was a manipulation there. So
there's time missing from the video, for crying out loud. I mean, we had something similar that we saw with the Epstein case, only to recently have that minute be brought out and released, which turned into a giant lie on behalf of the FBI. So, I mean,
I really hope that they catch this guy and we're able to hear. I'm not going to say answers, because it's really hard to feel like we're getting answers from anything these days. I want to hear whatever's going on from them and try to hopefully make some sense of it. Mike Harrison, I see your super chat. Thank you for it. You said book on Amazon about Charlie shot, published on September 9th. Yeah, that's a very bizarre story. For those who don't know, there was a book that was published on Amazon the day before Charlie was killed, and it said basically like the killing of Charlie Kirk, or the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I did hear the guys on IRL talking about the book earlier, saying you can go in there and update it. So you can have a book on Amazon, you can go in and update it quickly. Well, I guess, but quickly is the problem, because I have published a bunch of books on Amazon, and typically they make you wait at least 2 to sometimes 10 days for that update to kick in. And it could be an update on the title, the cover, the pricing, the bio, all that stuff. You can go in, there's a back end to that. You can type in all your stuff. But in all the books I've published for myself and for other people, it takes a while sometimes. And sometimes it's like a day or two, but that book was up quick. I don't know. There's a ton of people pointing to the songs that have come out from a band talking about Charlie dying at 31. There's tweets from people that appear to be from the college or in the area that's saying he was going to die the next day. So there's a bunch of weird stuff.
Yeah, I saw something else too about some of this stuff being put out media-wise that was dated the day before the assassination. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, and typically what happens with that is these degenerate publications can have like a site already, like a page pulled up, and they can go back and edit it. So it
creates a conspiracy.
It's not even for that. They do it because I guess it's like an SEO thing that helps boost the ratings and gets it out there more.
In my opinion, that's
disgusting.
Directly falsifying information.
Well, that's what they're known for. It's disgusting. Totally disgusting. I hate that they do that.
Not cool, man.
But yeah, I mean, I wish we knew more. The more time that passes, the harder it's going to be to catch this person. And yeah, I mean, it's really hard to know what to trust. And what a freaking day it's been. This manhunt is on. The darkness is just growing, and I'm watching the news. I'm praying for updates, for answers, and then you're just inundated with all this stuff happening today. There was this horrible beheading in Dallas, Naval Academy shooting, an alleged shooting at UMass. There was a school shooting in Colorado yesterday. At some point, maybe we'll talk about it, but what I plan on talking about yesterday was that NASA announced they found ancient life on Mars, and then a bomb threat at the DNC. And on top of all that, it's 9/11, which like just was buried beneath all of it, but like created this extra ominous tone across everything,
Yeah, the crazy thing for me was having all of this at the forefront of it. And how many times in the last 24 hours were we just like, oh shit, yeah, and it's 9/11.
It's unbelievable, dude.
Like it's just the timing here is insane.
Yeah. I do see some people saying like the last road dude, there's literally nothing about this shooter that says experienced in any way. It's possible. You know, if you want to, if I can keep up with the chat, and I'll try if you want to expand on that, or if you want to call in, we will be getting the calls pretty soon, maybe even earlier than usual. Would love to hear from more people tonight. Thank you everyone who joined us last night and called in. But you know, if you have a different take, we would love to hear it, and we'd love to hear why you think that. You know, especially if there's people out there who are in law enforcement or who are proficient shooters, you know, who know this stuff well, or you're from the area, things you're hearing. We would really love to hear from you guys, hear your take. Disagree with my take, totally fine. I mean, we know nothing. I'm just going off the top of my head with what I think is the deal. But like I said, that's my bias. You know, when it comes to these national scars, these giant tragedies, very political, this political violence, we just have such a long history in this country of these things. Like right now, Malcolm X's children are suing the CIA for killing their father. You know, I think they are complicit in a lot of past tragedies. Like I mentioned Northwoods last night, and that I mentioned General Lemnitzer, who was fired by JFK for proposing that. And Lemnitzer then went on to oversee NATO at the very beginning of what would become the Years of Lead in Italy, which was decades worth of insane political violence, of false flags, which is what Northwoods was. People on the left and the right in Italy kidnapping each other, murdering each other, bombing each other. And after a while, the theories coming out of Italy were that NATO was behind a lot of it. And it's bizarre to me that the person overseeing NATO in the beginning of all of that was the guy who proposed Operation Northwoods to JFK. Again, if you don't know what that is, if you're new here tonight, that's when the Joint Chiefs of Staff proposed that they carry out false flags on the American public and blame it on Cuba to start a war with Cuba. So it's really, really diabolical stuff. And again, false flags do mean real deaths. Sometimes they could mean fake deaths. Our government has definitely used fake deaths before, but they were planning on killing people 100% because they will sacrifice anybody for their for whatever narrative they want to sustain whatever power they need. But again, of course, it could also be a psychopath on their own. In my point of view, it just seems like now that he's gone this long, if the decoy's a part of it, we don't know. But it seems like there's a bigger plan afoot. But I guess we'll have to wait and find out about that. My goodness. But thank you guys for calling in last night. Thank you for calling in tonight. We'll get to you soon. I was going to say the stuff about the bias is that this morning that news broke that they said there was trans writing right on the casings. But that doesn't, they've like backpedaled on that. So now it's
I didn't see this yet, so they might have put this up and took this down before I was even conscious.
Okay, so yeah, it was early. So Crowder got some sort of inside leak saying that the shooter had etched some sort of trans ideology onto, I think it was either the gun or the casing, not really sure. And so that was the narrative. Another trans shooter, like what we saw with that church shooting recently, like in Nashville, like a lot of these psychopaths. But as the day went on, they're starting to say that that wasn't the case. But again, impossible to know. But that was one of those biases for people who think a lot of these things are trans motivated. We've talked about accelerationism. We've had BX on and talk about the mass shootings, the trans shooters, and what that means if it really is that surface level or if there's something deeper beneath it. Like when we talked to BX about these death cults, these satanic death cults, like 764 or 09A, who are accelerationists. Which that was my take on the church shooter in Minneapolis, that it was accelerationism.
Well, make no mistake, these people all want to fan the flame right now. It's been the thing to do in America for years now. We all know it. We've all seen it.
Yep.
They want to fan the flame. these people don't want you to hate each other. They already know you fucking hate each other.
Yep.
They want to increase that hate.
Absolutely.
Full force. They want you to feel the way that you feel all the time, and for it to increase and increase and increase until there's a boiling point and you end up doing their dirty work for them. That is how this country works now, and it fucking sickens me. That's my 2 cents for right now.
Dude, I agree. Kathy, friends, thank you very much for the super chat. You said Romans 12:17-19, do not repay evil with evil. Yeah, it is very hard. You know, a lot of people running real high, wanting real retribution, and these people need to be held accountable. There is so much evil right now. Like, I went through that list of what just the news today, and all those things would be major headlines. And now we have that wrapped up with this assassination of Charlie, and it's 9/11, and the image of J.D. Vance carrying the casket. Insane. You know, just totally insane stuff. But I had this pulled up from the Wall Street Journal report. This morning it says the Wall Street Journal reported that investigators had found ammunition engraved with expressions of transgender and anti-fascist ideology. That detail came from an internal law enforcement bulletin and a person familiar with the investigation. The bulletin also described the weapon as an older model 30 caliber hunting rifle recovered near Utah Valley University. Later Thursday, the Wall Street Journal changed their original headline and published an update. The paper reported that some officials later Thursday cautioned against reaching conclusions based on the internal report. Justice Department officials also said the investigation remained in its early stages, with analysts still reviewing the evidence. The journal added that the bulletin may not accurately reflect the messages on the ammunition. So it's not a full retraction. They're just saying be cautious of it, which is fair, but they're not outright saying that's not the case. So it remains to be seen. But amongst all these ghouls online cheering, I mean, it got worse and worse today. Seeing people celebrating this death, you know, I was thinking how, you know, that there are people out there celebrating this violence, and they have a sign in their yard that says hate has no home here. Like that, you know, that's the case.
It's worse because they're not only celebrating, but they're advocating for more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Widespread, rampant calls for violence on other people.
We're making lists.
Forums everywhere of people naming names, saying, "Hey, this is great. Can we do this one next, please?" And we're not talking just a few. And I think that shit like this, these should be treated as credible death threats. There's got to be some way to prosecute shit like this, because this is insane. This is a bunch of people calling for heads at random, and over what, you know? You hear a lot of the narrative going back to Palestine, and a lot of these people talking about, well, you know, this shit happens in Palestine all the time. Why are you surprised it's happening now? This is the world that Charlie wanted. And it's like, I don't see any of that in this at all.
No, they're just sick. Like they're selling T-shirts with
and the
Charlie.
eyes on some of these people. Have you seen some of the eyes
they're
on
dead.
these people?
They're
like,
dead inside.
The fucking, like, you can see
Yeah.
just the look on some of these people when they're expressing their joy.
Yep. It's just straight
And
hatred.
It's a pathetic cry out for attention, in my opinion, in the wake of a tragedy, which that's the saddest part to me. Yeah. I don't care what you are, what you do, what you believe in, but playing on something like this is just, it's not human.
Yep. And I should say Crowder has had intel before that turned out to be true when it comes to the trans shooter in Nashville. And then the other update is, if you missed it, the ATF has subpoenaed Crowder. I mean, it is just total chaos right now. Total chaos. And I'd love to hear from callers. Renee, thank you for that super chat. Look what they do to their babies. Exactly. They sacrifice everyone. They sacrifice everyone. Themselves, their babies, their future, their country. They don't care. And they have just totally believed the false media narrative that their so-called political enemy is a caricature. They spent years calling Trump literally Hitler, and they've locked him up. They've beat him over the head with lawfare. They've arrested him. They've arrested all people with him. They have successfully tricked a good portion of this country that he is the worst living person. And now they've been activated to become violent. And we saw that all throughout 2020. We saw it all in the past few years. And it's ramping up. It is really ramping up. But if we have some callers, Brandon,
We do. We got plenty.
can do that. I'd love to hear from you guys. We'll try to get to as many as we can tonight. This is our last show of the week. We will be back on Monday. And Jay, I see you in the chat. Who was the distraction? The first guy arrested? That's what I meant, is that to me, if he wasn't just like we were saying, a psychopath taking advantage of a bad situation, it felt like he could have been a decoy. We all thought the suspect was arrested. We saw the video saying, shoot me. He was saying, I have my right to remain silent.
I seen an article somewhere that guy was identified too as like some local lunatic.
That's what I was saying.
Okay,
yeah.
so then that's another. That's probably the best that I can think of narrative wise for that.
It could be.
If he was directly involved as a patsy, that this goes way deeper than just some asshole with a Mauser,
Yeah, and I guess the authorities don't think that's the case because, as far as I can tell, he's out.
Yeah,
I think they're both the suspects.
I didn't hear about the release of the second guy. I just heard that he was named not the shooter.
Yeah. And there's, they got 7,000 tips. Now they've released this video we saw in the beginning of this guy jumping off the roof. So let's just pray they get this guy, and we hope for some answers. And just as always, remain suspicious of anything that confirms your bias, because they know that, and they're going to use it against you. Look at all the ghouls on Twitter today. Everyone's engagement farming. It's disgusting. They're just printing false news. They're trying to pull on your heartstrings. They want you to believe in things that just weren't real. And it's continuing as we speak. And then there's Blue Sky, which is just like the new ISIS. These guys, it's like a terrorist cell. Everyone on there wants everyone dead. Completely bloodthirsty people. So, all right, guys. Well, let's get to some callers. Let's do it. And I'm going to read another super chat real quick, though. Thank you, Holly, movie star. Internet found a perp of interest.
Sky Valadez?
Sky Valadez had a SoundCloud song called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. Yeah, man.
There's going to be a lot of that going on now.
Evil
It's
stuff.
just going to get worse. All right, let's get on the phones. We want to hear from you guys. Let's go to Michael Harrison to kick things off.
I'm trying to look at the Rumble chat, but it's just not loading for me. So if you see anything over there,
reload it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Been crazy. Michael Harrison, can you hear us?
I can. How's it going, boys?
It's good, man. How are you?
Oh, man. It's been a rough couple of days for me. I know you guys feel it too, but like when stuff happens like this and in society, it only doesn't affect me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when Trump almost got shot, like, of course I was, worried for his safety and glad he made it through, but I wasn't like emotionally affected by it. But this whole situation, man, is like, I didn't sleep last night either. Like, I was up at night thinking about it.
Yep.
Just been going through it, man. I cried for this man. Like, just devastated.
It's just
absolutely
horrible.
devastated.
I mean, thinking about so much. Thinking about, he was very kind. He was very kind to us here at Timcast. He built something great. He was willing to talk to people he disagreed with, even people on the side of the politics that agreed with him. We could disagree with him, and he took it in stride. He had a good sense of humor. It's always amazing to see anyone who believed in themselves and built something, and then people flocked to it. And what he did, incredible, totally incredible. I watched Candace's video earlier, very emotional. Those two, go back a ways and look what they started together. And it was really, really, if anyone hasn't watched it, you really should. It's a great video. Watching just everyone, people who disagree with him, people who loved him, the outpouring of love and support, prayers. I love seeing what Nick Fuentes is saying, Dave Smith,
Yeah.
Watching
Nick Freitas.
watching Milo just go hard in the paint on Twitter today. You know, thought about Milo a lot because you think about 10 years ago, Milo was on his tour through college campuses and they were like burning down Berkeley just because he was there, right?
I
Like,
remember that. Yeah.
they were willing to destroy everything because they hate your speech and your ideas. They hate you. And, you know, so everyone knew for years that they want you dead. They want to silence you. They want to scare you.
Yeah.
So just seeing
It's
all those
changing now,
people.
though. It's
yeah.
It's different now. Like I think this is I hate to say the phrase, but I think this is a turning point in not just the culture war, but in society itself.
Yep.
I mean, I feel a shift. I mean, I've been feeling a shift for a while, and things feeling different here and there. But man, this feels like this is going to be the awakening. I'm not sure what's coming or what or when and or how, but it just feels like we're on the precipice of something.
It does.
Shane's been talking about it for weeks.
I have been.
I know.
There's been something in the air. I mean, it's just, it hasn't gone away since COVID. We kind of like, society sort of faked coming back together, like we were pretending that it's over, but that scar is there, right? And everyone's.
It's almost like two roommates that kind of don't like each other but are still bound by the lease,
Right.
so they're kind of just coexisting in the same
Been in those situations.
habitat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
terrible.
sucks.
Yeah.
That's basically what this
And my
feels
wife-
like.
My wife and I talk all the time about how fake people are nowadays. Everything just feels so fake. I mean, I know you think the clouds are fake and stuff, but
It's everything.
I mean, people in general, people in society, friends, you know, quote unquote friends, you know, everything just feels like it's kind of crumbling down. And
I mean,
Jesus come quick.
I know. I was thinking about that all day. And saying lots of prayers and reading the Bible, reading Psalms.
Yeah.
I was, since it's 9/11, thinking about what the original 9/11 felt like. You know, I was 14 or 15, and there put all of our ideas on what happened on 9/11 to the side and just think about what was happening in your community or in the nation, how you perceived people coming together. There was like this horrible tragedy, whatever, we don't know what was going on, but then people were like banding together. There was some sort of calm through that. People were putting flags out. People were buying flags left and right. You know, that's not happening today. We have a national tragedy. You know, everyone should just rally around not wanting death, and it's just gotten worse.
Yeah, we have people in Congress that refuse to just shut their mouths for a couple minutes and have a moment of silence. You know, have a prayer for Charlie and his family.
Yeah, we spoke about that
insane.
yesterday. It's insanely childish. Like, you don't have to like the guy. You don't have to agree with the guy, but he damn sure deserves some respect.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'm the second time I've called in. I have a ton of crazy stories of stuff I've seen and experienced, but I don't want to take away from the more important topic of trying to come together and man, just trying to work through this terrible situation and praying for his family, praying for his kids. My family's been praying for his family just ever since we found out. I mean, we went to a candlelight vigil last night here in Cedar. I live in southern Utah.
Oh, wow.
And there was an outpouring support of people last night just standing by the side of Main Street, holding candles and holding signs with scripture on it. Because people down there crying, playing gospel music, just praying.
Did you were you near the situation that unfolded with the rogue guy that came through on the scooter, yelling profanity, and then eventually, from the reports that I saw, he got beat up by a lot of people at one of those vigils?
I think that was up north. I think that was somewhere up north. Cedar down here is a little bit smaller of a town, but I know there's a lot of people trying to get on. I don't want to hold up too much time, but I do have a public service announcement for people that do live in Utah and have kids in public school in Utah. Tomorrow, there's a lot of rumors. There's a lot of things going around online. There's actually school board members coming out and saying like there's supposed to be, there's a rumored to be some sort of violence tomorrow at public schools across Utah, public like shootings, like school shootings, bomb threats, all that kind of stuff. So if you do have kids in public school, get them out tomorrow, especially. They're telling parents, if you want to take your kids out of school tomorrow, like it's fine. You can take your kids, keep them home tomorrow, because I mean, they're taking the threat serious,
Yeah.
obviously, but it's all of Utah. It's the state of Utah.
Can I ask
Scary
where
situation.
where this is there a place where this information is being reported to the public?
So we're in Cedar City down here in southern Utah, and it's being distributed on Facebook through the local school district.
Wow. Evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yep.
I
So-
despise these people. Yeah, but thank you for sharing that. And if anyone is out
Yeah.
there from Utah, take heed. Well, hey, it was good to hear from you again. And, call back.
Yep.
We'd love to hear those stories.
Yep. I appreciate what you guys do. And, man, just keep praying. I want everyone that's listening to this, just keep praying for Charlie and his family.
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine the pain that his wife and kids are going through, but just keep praying, and don't stop. And, man, thank you guys, and have a good night.
Thank you.
You too, Mike. Thanks.
Mark,
Yeah,
thank
bye.
you for sending in that super chat. Hey, guys, I might create an inverted world app over the weekend. Let's discuss 5 minutes what you'd like in there.
UFOs.
Notes. The entity searchable, rendered by AI based on description. Well, you lost me at rendered by
And
AI.
they need to be able to shoot each other. I want these UFOs to be able to shoot each other. Pew, 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 like Space Invaders.
The AI's got to go, though. I can't have demons in my app. We have talked about having inverted world app, and at some point we'll do that. Kathy Friends, also thanks for this. Press conference just now, Utah State Police say that foreign bots are pushing hate narrative. Go spend time face-to-face with family and friends was the quote. So we must have missed that while I was talking. Not surprised. Bots, dead internet theory. We were just talking about this. Obviously, there's a lot of us that are alive and real people on the internet. So it's not totally dead yet, but the bots push these narratives. Left
Think
and right.
about how much easier it is. Okay. Any of my fellow dinosaurs out there that remember MySpace and stuff like that, you used to have, when we were in bands coming up, we were like 15, 16 years old,
Yep.
there were bots that you could use to have people added as a friend for your music profiles. And that's how some of these local bands only played 2 or 3 shows, have like 50,000 followers.
Yep.
It was so much easier than actually hitting page for page, leaving a comment, check out our band, not getting hate back, all of that stuff. It was just like, you know what? We're going to do this the fake way, and then maybe we'll have some people show up to our show. This is the same concept being applied to this, only on a way, way, way bigger scale.
Yeah.
Massive scale.
They found a way to weaponize it against you. This
Yeah.
is part of a psychological operation. They want you angry. They want you so angry. And they're going to send bots after you. I've experienced it. We've all experienced it. You got to be able to tell a difference between the bot and a real person. But it's they're getting better. And you've probably noticed that some bots are able to, in their first sentence, react to your post in a somewhat organic way, and then it turns into bot slop. It's ridiculous. I wish there was a way for them to just nuke the bots, but then, there might not be much of us left on there, but who cares? I am digging the people saying we are Charlie, in reference to Jay Sui. Oh, geez, I'm spacing on the name now. From France, when the cartoonists were slaughtered by terrorists. Jay Sweet Charlie, right. That's ridiculous. I am Charlie. Wow. I just put that together.
Wow.
That was a huge moment, because they put an image of Muhammad in their satirical magazine. It was like a way edgier, like Mad TV, big time satire, pretty fearless stuff. And they put on Muhammad, and then some crazy Islamist went in there and killed, not everybody, but a few people. And it was just horrible, horrible. So let's get to another caller, shall we?
Yeah. Let's go to Chase, who I think was in here last night and we couldn't get to him. Chase, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me back. Gosh, it's been a sad couple of days. It's just it's crazy that someone who bridged so many generational gaps, like Charlie, is gone. I mean, yesterday I heard from the first person I talked to about it was actually my 72-year-old mother, who listens to Charlie, and at dinner, my 12-year-old nephew was talking about it. And it's so it just, to me, just illustrated just how much how many people he touched, and just how he was so good at communicating to people of different generations. And so it's just a huge, tremendous loss. And it's going to be uh, reverberating for a very long time, I think. I really appreciated yesterday, Shane, you sharing your insights from your grandparents about the 60s, because that's been one of the things that I've really been thinking about with this. I feel like that's in recent history kind of the best analog that we have, for the times that we're going through right now. The 60s and into the early 70s was just a really dark period of time in American history.
Yep.
And so many people who are still alive today went through that. And you had a caller last night who I really appreciated him sharing his memories, albeit as a youngster. And I really just kind of want to know from those people, like, did they feel the same type of feelings, like, are we going to go into a civil war, like after JFK was shot or after his brother was shot? And those are the things that are just on my mind right now, and
That's a great question.
how we move forward from here.
That's a great question. If there's anyone out there listening, again, who's alive, then we'd love to hear from you. My first take would be, I don't know if they would think of civil war. They were probably still worried about like nuclear war. They were probably just thinking of a different type of warfare.
I was going to say there
right?
had to be like a general overtone of fear
Definitely.
that came amongst the American people. They're not
definitely.
used to seeing that in that time.
Definitely. And then the Manson murders changed everything for a lot of people, a lot. And just another fear ritual where, everyone was inundated with the images and the fear of Manson family, after all the assassinations. Just insanity. I know my grandparents certainly felt a fear. I wish I could ask them now about your question, but they were in New York City, and the city was a war zone. You go look up pictures of parts of the city from the 60s, late 60s into the 70s, and most of the 70s, not a good place. Lots of crime. And my grandfather was a cop. And so my grandma told me, like, she expected him to die every day. Like, she was like, this is his job. He just got back from Korea. And then he came back and became a cop. And, they weren't happy with they just want to kill everybody on the streets. So he had a partner who did get shot, who was murdered right in front of him. First time I ever saw my grandfather cry on a Thanksgiving when I was about 12 or 13. He told me that story. He told me stories about, just like I was saying the other day or yesterday, all the dead bodies he had to come across, and just so much violence. And, I only knew him as such like a warm, loving, quintessential grandfather. And then as I grow older and really get these stories out of him, I spent a good 10 years recording every possible story I could. I have all the audio. And I advise anyone who still has your grandparents to do that. You don't have to record it, but just talk to them, get those stories, because you will learn so much from what they went through, because it's human nature. We repeat it. It just looks a little different. We're still as savage as we've always been, and we're still as beautiful as we've always been. But it's very important to get those stories directly from the source if you can. If you don't have your grandparents, people who were around at that point, it's great to talk to them, get their point of view. And, always keep in mind, though, that they all have their own like prisms of perception, and they were getting their information from different places. So, they had like one channel and, a few newspapers. Take that, into account. But to get their firsthand experience of what they were going through in those times, it's wild.
Yeah, I wish I had got more from my grandparents while they were still alive. My mom has shared her experience of learning about Kennedy's death, but she was 9 or 10 at the time, so it wasn't. It resonated, of course, but it wasn't something that she could share from an adult perspective. And I really want to know from people who lived through a period of time that was similar to this in terms of tone. But and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the 60s and 70s was different from what we're experiencing now. I know that it is you know, in terms of how information is being disseminated and how we're able to share with one another. I think it's absolutely awesome that you guys are doing a show like this where anyone can call in. I sometimes feel bad because this is, you know, like my third time calling in, and
That's all
but you
good.
guys have regulars, and it's you
We
know,
love it.
I feel like it's building a community, and it's really great to be able to share our perspectives and then just kind of hear from you guys about it.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
We feel the same
so I-
way. We feel the same way.
That's why we want to do it.
yeah, I will just really quickly. I saw the same reports on X about this potential person of interest being this sky person. Normally, I'm not one to look at these surveillance stills and photos that people gather on 4chan and be like, oh yeah, that's totally the guy, because it usually doesn't look like the same person. But my opinion, the most prominent feature of the person in these surveillance stills is their jawline, and this guy looks a lot like the one and sort of fits the profile with the SoundCloud uh, music and other social media posts and being into guns and all of that. I don't want to, I don't want to say that this is the person. It just, from my perspective and in my opinion, it really does look like that's the most likely suspect. So,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked into that one, but there is. It just reminded me of when we had BX on. I think the first time. Like I said, I'm so bad with names, but there was a shooter that she investigated, Robert Cremo, something like that. But he was like a rapper with a SoundCloud, a lot of really weird stuff that was public that they found afterwards. And he recently, I think this is the guy who recently just pled guilty right before the trial was supposed to start. And then we had the guy I referenced last night who allegedly chopped his father's head off and then held it in front of a live stream on YouTube in February of 2023, calling for like a revolution against the federal government. And he also had a very bizarre SoundCloud. I mean, the music, I didn't want to listen to it. I heard like 2 seconds of it. I was like, turn that off. That sounds like something trying to warp your brain. It was very, very bizarre. But yeah, we'll have to look into that and definitely keep up. I see a lot of people posting about that person.
yeah, and there's a lot that has come out just within the last few hours. I mean, people have found connections between him and the social media posts that were found yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Sort of predicting that something was going to happen. Apparently, these two guys were in a band together.
Ooh, okay.
So it's there's more and more that's coming out. I don't want to say anything definitively because who knows anymore. It's really hard, but
Yep.
I dig this kind of stuff. I've always been into forensics and that kind of thing, but I also don't want somebody's life to be ruined, because they've been connected
Oh,
to
yeah.
something that
No.
they really weren't.
Just always double check everything and then check it again, man. That's all you can do. Make sure you've got your
Yeah.
sources in line. Make sure they're reputable,
Certainly.
and never go
Well,
for
I
the cuff.
appreciate it, guys.
course.
It's a dark time we're living in. I hope things start to lighten up soon. I absolutely appreciate what you guys do. So
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Have a good night. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us. We love hearing from you guys. We're going to get to as many calls as we can. I wish we had more from that press conference. I was really like, well, let's get something, please. I'm not one for the official narrative, but I do just want to see something, right? And I think that was very telling that we didn't hear anything. I don't think they have anything yet.
They don't.
They have nothing.
That's why they had to put out what they had.
That's unbelievable.
And that's all they had after 24 hours.
That's unbelievable, dude. That is really upsetting. I don't want to say it.
I've got so many forks in the road right now on where my brain goes with that.
I know. I just keep thinking about his poor family and the daughters, the
No,
daughter,
and-
the son, and his wife. It's just
It's horrible. It's unthinkable. It sucks. My heart goes out to them. Obviously, a lot of people do. But make no mistake, people, hope is not a strategy. Hope is great, but hope is dangerous. It's not a strategy for winning. We have to take our country back. We really do, and we need to maintain it. Or these are the kinds of things that are going to keep happening, unfortunately. And we really don't want them to. We want this to stop.
And how do we do it? I mean, people are advocating for the top down, and we got to go after the bad people and put them away forever. You know, that's another argument about how we do it, what it looks like. You know, I'm trying to abstain from bloodlust, but certainly everyone's thinking.
Oh, well, there's a point when you get right down to it to where you're not a member of a party or you're not a member of a social cliche.
Yeah.
You're just a human, and raw human nature is animal.
Yeah.
And animals are vicious.
I think it's another thing is a lot of people are kind of reluctant to think of it as if we're already in a war. I know there's a talk of, is a civil war coming?
It's been here.
I think it's been here.
It's been here for a while. And
I
if
think
you
it's
haven't
beyond it.
noticed this yet, you need to wake up.
Yeah, I think it's beyond it. Like,
It's here.
I think the government's been at war against us for decades.
And it's on slow bleed.
Yeah.
This is the longest brewing pot of coffee in the history of coffee. I'm not even kidding you.
And then what happened is the government hates us. You know, they have fought against us forever. All these undeclared wars, the innocent men we've sent to die, the bodies that keep piling up for nothing, and then all the experiments they do on us, the way they punish us. You know, we are enslaved here. I love this country. I love America, but they clearly hate us. And the thing that's made it go at an even quicker clip now is this: they've activated all these basically foot soldiers because they've convinced him to hate us, whether they've been brainwashed through media, whether they flick that switch on in them where they're just full hatred now, going full animal. So they have activated a whole group of people. And look at how these people are celebrating. Totally deranged. Totally deranged. And we saw it during COVID. We saw it during the riots. They were willing to take you out if you didn't do what they said to do, if you didn't post a black box, if you didn't get a shot, if you said nothing. If you said nothing, they hated you. So it's been 5 years.
No,
of
yeah,
this.
you weren't even allowed to be neutral.
Nope.
That's the craziest part about all of that shit is you were just as bad if you weren't standing up and contributing your voice. You were just as hated.
That's when I COVID, I'd always been a political junkie, but I never really wrote about it. I liked writing. When I was a freelance writer, I wrote about history, weird stuff, ghosts, serial killers, weird stories. And then I just didn't want to do politics. I think politics is a disease, and I still think that. But then 2020 happened, and I was like, I'm done. I can't. I felt sick seeing all these people. A lot of my former friends turn into maniacs. My neighbors turn into maniacs. My family turned into maniacs. So I did the only thing I knew how to do. I wrote something, and I wrote it out. A friend of mine scored it. It was like this 13, 14-minute video, and I just laid out what I felt about everything: the riots, COVID, lockdowns, and I posted it. And I told my wife, I'm like, the second our friends hear this, I'm getting phone calls. The second I posted it.
MySpace blogs. That's how that
Bro.
used to work.
Yeah.
Bro, are you okay?
That's literally what it was. And I got calls from like this one dude, former friend, who just had a baby like the day before. He calls me at night crying. I thought you were on the right side of history. First of all, screw that phrase. Means nothing.
Impression was uncanny.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Solid.
It was pathetic. You were pathetic. And he's calling me, telling me like all this stuff and how he can't believe I could say this stuff. It wasn't like a hate-filled thing. I just felt my way. It's still up there, but YouTube deleted it, banned for whatever reason. It's funny that just happened after 5 years. They just emailed me a few weeks ago saying they banned it. It's somewhere written online. I'll have to find it, but I can't believe they took that video down. Totally insane. But yeah, old friends, some of my oldest friends calling me. They couldn't believe it, crying. Like these are men I thought were men. And then all of a sudden they turn into these like feminine, little pathetic wussies calling me being like, you're going to vote to like hurt my family. I'm like, I don't want to hurt your family at all. I love you. I love your family. Just because you think I'm a certain way, like, cause I don't think the same way as you, I am now a threat to you. And that's what they were saying to me. Because I have a different thought, I am a threat to you.
No, and I was getting it from both sides too when I wasn't voting. Like,
Yeah.
because there was a long time I didn't vote.
Right.
Like, I'm staying out of this shit. And that was perceived as antagonizing by both sides.
Of course. Yeah. Oh yeah.
To its own degree.
Yep.
But these people were legitimately contacting you, getting into your DMs.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and why haven't you made a decision? I can't believe this. I thought we were friends. Like, dude, what the hell? Like, I don't want to quote Rush here, but if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They were somehow words were violence, but also silence was violence. Totally deranged, and that was the beginning of the end. I mean, we are in the evolution of whatever started in 2020. I mean, I know it started decades and decades before, but you see these people who were activated. They were like turned on that summer. All right, let's get to another caller.
All right. Let's see. I want to find a new person here, which I don't know if we've had Chris Kerman on before, but we're going to go to Chris Kerman.
All right.
And then we'll see if we can get to somebody. We got some repeat offenders in here, as I love to call them. Chris, can you hear us? Unmute your mic and say what's up, please.
Hey, what's up?
Hey there.
How
Sorry.
you doing?
Hey, so I'm a Canadian. Not involved, obviously, in you guys' politics, but
Yep.
I been, I guess, a fan of Tim's for probably like 6 years now. And yeah, just kind of dealing with this Charlie thing and just heartbroken and just mad and yeah, it's just kind of weird. I kind of feel isolated a little bit here. I live in BC, West Coast, very left wing up here. I know you guys have seen probably stuff online about BC, maybe some stuff from Billboard, Chris, or whatever. But
Yeah. Canada's a crazy place. I mean, talking about lockdowns, I was watching Canadian police rip like pastors out of the church and arresting them. Then the truckers that they
just
destroyed.
vilified. The media just totally vilifies everybody. It's just absolutely disgusting what they did during the whole COVID thing.
Oh, man.
And so there's a similar thing almost in ethos going on right now, and it's going to the States is a big no-no. Everyone, it's almost like the same COVID vibe where people are like, "Oh my God, you're going to the States."
Because they view all the states as a monolith, and they view it as a thing of Trump and just stay away from the states. Or is it like
the
a danger?
Media, no, it's the Trump thing.
Okay.
It's the Trump thing, and the media up here has just polluted everybody. It's really disappointing to see the people that I love, my family members, that have been completely radicalized, and it's fucking scary in a sense. But in another sense, it's like totally normal here.
Right. Yeah, it's so weird.
So I'm like the outlier. It's really weird.
It felt like when it started happening during COVID and where we're at now, it felt like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. It felt like all of a sudden the pod people, they looked like the person you knew for years, but suddenly there was something completely different inside, and they looked at you like you were a different person. They looked at you like you were a threat.
And I'll do full disclosure. I got double jabbed. And somehow managed to avoid whatever manipulation is going on here.
Thank God.
Body snatchers is a good analogy.
I remember talking to nurses in New York about the shot, and she was telling me and my wife, like, some people were getting it and she'd see like their eyes change. It was so creepy the way she described it to us. And then just watching everyone, like, we had this one neighbor, she was 9 months pregnant, and she walked over to our house to drop off clothes because my wife was also 9 months pregnant. And her neighbor had an older kid, so she was giving us hand-me-downs for our second child, our daughter. And she walked up to the house and she was like, "Are you guys vaccinated?" And we looked at her like, "Nah." And she just dropped the clothes like at our doorstep and backed away slowly, like we were like a mountain lion or something, and then just left. I'm like, wow. I was looking at my wife like, that really just happened. This is so insane. I remember being on a hike with my son during COVID, just going outside, even though that was frowned upon somehow. And we're hiking up to this old town called Doodletown, and kind of like, for those who know, like by the Bear Mountain area, and it's a narrow path. And we're walking up, and these people are walking down towards us, very narrow, cliff on one side, big steep drop off. And these people see us as we're approaching them. They stop, and it's like they've come across some sort of radioactive monster. And they put on face masks outside, and they literally walked in a way, they were closer to the drop off, that they seemed willing to fall off the cliff rather than walk too close to me and my son. So people's
just totally
brains are
irrational.
totally irrational.
Something that I'm kind of been thinking about is, so The Righteous Mind, you guys are familiar with that?
I'm not.
No? It's Jonathan Haidt.
Okay. I know of him.
Yeah. Okay. So The Righteous Mind, I recommend it to everybody. It's really good. Because I was questioning, I'm trying to figure out, like, hey, what is going on? Like, what is going on with people? Where it's like there's multiple realities in coexisting.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess that has a lot to do with the algorithm, and we're not all just 5 o'clock news anymore.
Yep.
So that kind of controls breaking down. But so part of that is like the kind of the 6 moral foundations of being a conservative, and there's kind of 3-ish for liberals.
Okay.
And one of them about the conservative thing is like safety, right? Being safe.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just kind of weird where, and I guess it's because we didn't buy into the bullshit, but it's almost like the conservatives should have been more for the vaccine.
I mean, certainly some were, and many were, but the conservatives are so fractured that we have everyone from like Rand Paul to Lindsey Graham to Trump Vance.
Yeah.
You know, it's so different. You know, like the left is also fractured. So it just depended on who bought into what.
4 federal left-wing parties in Canada.
Sheesh. That's fun.
The left is fractured, but they make their coalitions and they get shit done.
Yeah, despite their like ideological differences, they do like consolidate into their monolith.
Well, they've got one enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can band together to compete against their enemy. So I'm just heartbroken. And what a freaking coward.
Oh, it's
absolute
disgusting.
Coward. I'm just disgusted. And the reactions online, it just reinforces my biases really towards the left. Like, it's just, there are evil people, there are demons.
Oh yeah.
This stuff is true.
Yeah, they're out there.
I'm not a super religious guy. I don't go to church. I do believe, there's some higher power, and maybe that is just the universe itself. Who knows? But
right.
I'm just just kind of feeling a little isolated, and jumped on. I was listening to your show last night for the first time, and I really liked it.
Awesome.
I will be back.
All right, we appreciate it, and we're here. So hopefully you feel a little less isolated, and you can call back, and we'll help with some Canadian therapy to get you through that condition of yours.
It's technically American, Shane, unless you're Canadian and you're not.
Well, I mean therapy for Canada, but American made.
All right.
Yeah.
Just make sure they know
True.
that. All right. Disclaimer. It's American.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you sign up for the MAID
I'm an
program.
American. We're North American.
Okay, true. I mean,
You
United.
guys are statesers, maybe.
Statesers, yeah.
We have a tariff agreement with them, right? Like, we don't need to charge this guy, do we?
I'll look into it.
Okay.
I'm
All
not
right.
sure
Just
yet.
making sure.
I might have a tariff.
We got to make sure we're tax good up here. Okay. Like, that's all.
Beautiful.
Awesome, man. Well, it's good hearing from you,
Thanks,
and just be strong out there, surrounded by the craziness.
You guys too, and everybody else listening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, let's get to another caller. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm seeing y'all on Rumble. Thank you so much for joining us. A lot of people saying you are not alone to our last caller. up there in Canada, and crazy Canada. I just don't think of it as America anymore. It is. I mean, I've been doing so much research into the MAID program. I can't believe that thing exists. When I was doing I wrote about like the suicide pods that they're doing in Europe, and then the MAID program where people can just sign up to have the government kill them. It's coming here at some point. If the wrong people are back in charge, and at some point they will be, it'll become a thing. So just things to worry about. You look at these countries to see where things could go here, in terms of immigration, in terms of social decay, in terms of depression, all that insane stuff. So let's bring in someone else. I want to say thank you to Elongated Musket for the super chat. Appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone on YouTube for joining in. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. There's a lot, and I appreciate you guys being here and just.
And if you're not in the chat, get in there. Both chats are lit. We have people that actually come here for the chats, which is crazy. But thank you to everyone hanging out on Rumble. Massive audience on there right now. Thank you to everyone hanging out on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, share the show, all that good stuff. Do it. We love it. We love to see it. We love that you guys are here, and we want to keep doing this going forward. So help us out with that like button. Smash the shit out of it. And let's get back on the phones. I see a lot of people in here again. We're not going to get to everybody. There's no way. Thank you guys so much for calling. I want to bring on Jeff is in here. I want to get his take on this. And then we'll see if we got a couple more new people in here too. We'll see if we can get to you guys before we get out of here tonight.
Yeah.
Hello.
Man.
Jeff.
Hey guys.
What's up,
Can you hear
Jeff?
me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're on the show. What's up?
Hey. So first off, I just want to I think we should settle on, if you're gonna do the I am Charlie thing, let's say I am Charlie and not Je suis Charlie, because the last thing Charlie would want is for you to honor his memory by speaking French.
Absolutely. The people are. I don't think maybe I saw one Je suis, but they're mostly saying I am. We got to translate that. Make sure we're
good. People's instincts are good then.
No, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
And
yeah, great point.
I just wanted to also say that there's a quote by another conservative titan that I used to use often because it made me feel like I had the intellectual high ground or whatever, and that's getting retired today. And that was from Andrew Breitbart.
Shout out to Andrew Breitbart.
Yeah, rest in peace, Andrew. Man, they must be shooting this shit on an epic level up there.
I'm seeing a lot of people make that comparison between Kirk and Andrew because of what they created and how they went about it, and just starting their things. And it's weird. I was just earlier watching a few months ago, watching the Breitbart documentary. I highly recommend it for anyone.
Yeah, and also how pure they were and how vigilant they were in their message, because they were honest. But the quote that Andrew said was, "They think we're evil. We just think they're wrong."
Yeah.
And that sounds great. And I used to believe that.
Yeah, now I think they're evil.
No, I know that's the new quote is, "I know they're evil, and it doesn't matter what they think of me because they're evil."
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, Breitbart, man, it's crazy what he made.
Yeah. And another one, taken too soon, and you can speculate about that all you want, like, Bruce Lee or anybody else who was taken too soon. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I disagree with you, Shane, finally, about something.
All right, let's hear it.
It's from last Thursday. You said the material world is worthless.
Those my exact words?
Yeah, I wrote it down on my wall.
Sounds
here.
minorly Shane-ish.
Have I said that before? Is it not because it's completely fake?
You were along those lines, and I mean, the subject had turned religious, and you were talking about how the material world is worthless because it's full of evil and all kinds of stuff like that. But my retort would be, if it's worthless, right? I mean, if you believe in an afterlife, if we're both Christians here, your entire afterlife for all eternity more or less depends on your behavior in the material world. So I would argue that makes them at least equally important.
Yeah, no, for sure. I guess what I was trying to say is that I don't want to be shackled to the material world. I don't want to be defined by material possessions. I don't want to be, a victim of making my identity completely shackled to this world, right? Obviously, I want my children are in this world, and I love them deeply, and I wanted to instill in them, faith and good values, and how to navigate this world, so we can get to the next one. So I guess that was kind of my point.
Okay, and on that same note, I mean, yeah, of course, the kids and everything. On that same note, everybody's like, "What's next? What's next? What's next?" And Brandon might have seen my post on the social medias, but I said, if you have something, if you care, you're obviously somebody who is at least tangentially, exposed to Charlie and Turning Point, and you should, if you have anything, like if you have a MAGA hat, if you have a Trump shirt, if you have a Turning Point shirt, if you have a Tucker thing, anything, whatever that expresses who you are as far as that goes, go and wear it, man. Go and wear it out as much as you can at Walmart, at the library, wherever you go, the gas station. And the purpose is to show, one, that we are not going to be scared. And there's way more of us that are super enthusiastic about, that whole movement than you ever imagined, and in places that you never imagined.
Yeah, I agree. Be open.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I say I agree. I be open with it. I want people. I was not surprised when I saw the reports this morning that Ben Shapiro canceled his book tour, because I have a certain feeling towards Ben. But then that was not true, and he's still doing his college tour, and I'm like, that's great. We need to be present. Milo saying he's going to do a college tour. Incredible. Alex Jones is saying he's going to go do a college tour. I'd like to see that happen. That'd be something else. But I think it's important. They want to silence you. Just got to make sure we're as safe as possible. But I also think these people are going to get you no matter what. If they want you gone, they're going to get you. And it's horrible. Sure. And that's how they operate.
I'd rather die with my boots on.
Yeah, we need to set an example for our kids. And that's so unfortunate. But when I started doing this in general, when I had that conversation with my wife about that thing I was saying earlier about writing that thing, knowing all my friends would lose, I lose a majority of my friends, and I did lose a lot, and then possibly a job, which I did lose soon after. And so did my wife. She lost her job. I was like, I'd rather be hated for doing what I believe in than liked for being fake. And I want to set that example for my kids. And that's just it. That's all we can do.
Yeah, I mean, the noble path is like, if it's easy, then that's almost weird, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, Brandon knows very well how many friends I've lost for remaining true to what I believe.
Same.
Yeah.
I lost a lot last night just going through scrolls on some of these people.
Brandon lost a friend for shit the guy said to me. But
they were never your friends. If they're like that in these situations, they were never your friends. And I do have friends still that don't agree with me politically, but we're still friends.
Even when they're in the circle for decades, you just get to a point sometimes where it's just like, you know what, man, I can't fuck with you anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we
can't.
Both know, Brandon, that this unnamed person is extremely intelligent on paper. Highly accredited at major universities, and
I'm already out. This guy is already worthless to me, like the material world.
Computer science, without saying any more. That could be anybody. But so it's STEM. I should have just said STEM. Damn it. But anywho, and it's like this guy is a different person. And I don't even know if there's like a psychological path that makes sense, that, like, if you want to call psychology science, but which it isn't, But
It does seem like for a lot of these people, there's a point where they like a switch just flipped and they got sucked into the void.
Yep.
You know,
he
they were never the
threw
same
out
again.
logic about the one subject, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, like his job is creating logic.
What does that mean?
'Cause-
That's
'cause he
literally
programs computers.
That's literally a
He
Norm
programs
Macdonald
logic
joke.
boards.
There's a Norm Macdonald joke out there. I highly recommend everyone looking up the logic, the professor of logic joke. We won't get into it now.
Oh, that's a good one. As far as the right side of history, a Norm Macdonald thing was, I was reading a history book the other day, and wouldn't you know it, the good guys won every single time.
Oh man, I miss that guy dearly. My favorite comedian, one of the best.
He's a genius.
Total genius.
Last thing, I know you guys you guys are swamped. So you were talking about repeating cycles of history. Have you ever heard of time wave or time wave zero?
No.
Okay, so I don't remember the origin. I heard this back in the day, but I think it's still up and running if you want to go look for it. If you imagine time, instead of being a straight line, a spiral going inwards. So the past is at the outside of the spiral and the present is at the inside of the spiral. And if you were to like cut a slice through that spiral, all of the places where it intersects are places where history is repeating itself on a shorter and shorter time scale.
I don't know how I feel about it. Time to me is so amorphous. I love theories of time, but like we were listening to that one thing a few weeks ago about how time and consciousness are, the scientists say they exist outside of our body, and that you could find a way to time travel through that, and that's what these studies are trying to do. So, when it comes to this, you're saying there's a spiral, and it goes out into itself. The past is up top, and we're going down. So, what does that mean when you hit the bottom?
So, like, it's
that's
like
death.
about like the vibe of the time. Like if there's a time of great change,
Oh, I
or
got
great
you.
sorrow.
Okay. So it's like a downward spiral.
Right.
Literally.
So like where the Roman Empire fell, where that intersects, in the future towards the center of the spiral would be like, it could be another great empire falling, or it could be, I don't know, if like Amazon went bankrupt or something.
So like parallels, but in different places in different times together.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
but on
crazy.
on a increasingly shorter scale, or
Right.
on an it happens faster and faster.
It does feel that way.
Well, with population going up too, like even if our population here is going through a crisis, I don't know that it is, but I keep hearing it. Then it is what it is. But there's still record number of people on this planet all the time going forward, just insanely, people having kids in other countries and stuff like that. We're constantly growing, which means that while it still could be the same kind of a cycle moving forward, I don't know how the acceleration works with that, because it's just adding more ingredients, so.
I mean, there were times of great what are the Dark Ages? That's a time of, it was so chaotic that they barely recorded it. That's why it's the Dark Ages. Yeah. So
yeah, it's wild. I'll have to look it up. You said time wave?
Yeah, time wave, or like I think I've heard it referred to as time wave zero.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like old school above top secret.com stuff.
Awesome.
Do you remember that?
No, I didn't have a
Oh,
computer
man.
till like 2004, so I missed out on when I got a computer. I didn't know what the heck it was.
It was
I'm a
great
caveman.
before it got glowed up,
Yeah, of course. That's what always happens.
Well, hey man, you got anything else
Jeff-
you want to shout out? We're gonna get to another caller here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end with how the great and powerful Gavin McInnes always ends his podcast, which is get fired, get in trouble, be brave, and never stop fighting.
Amen. Awesome.
Amen, brothers.
Thanks, man.
Love you guys.
Good to
Be
hear from
safe,
you.
guys. Seriously.
Hey, you too,
Seriously,
brother.
Be safe.
We'll talk
too,
to you
man.
soon.
All right, bye.
Brandon, we have someone in the Rumble chat, Schmolby, SCHMOLBY, sent in a chat saying, I work for a news network here in Utah. What's the number to call in? I'm going to say to Schmolby, there's a link in the chat on Rumble, pinned up there.
I'm
can
throwing
click
them
that.
in there again just in case.
So if you are still here, and we'd love to hear from you, and if your name is the same, hopefully, if you make your username the same on the Zoom,
please do.
So Brandon can find you, because there's a bunch of people waiting. But I would like to hear from someone who's like on the ground and just seeing what your take is. We just had this press conference 2 hours ago, just about. So we'll keep an eye out for sure.
And we talked to a guy a little while ago. If you missed it, he was at some of the vigils, or one of the vigils that was being held last night. It's a Utah guy, describing the scene there as mostly people just wanting to pay their respects, things like that. We also saw reports of other people trying to kind of wreck that and got wrecked instead. So there's a lot of that still going on. People are angry. It's understandable. You know, you can't walk into a beehive and kick the damn thing and then talk shit to all the bees on the way out. You're going to get stung. Use your heads, people. Let's you keep scrolling and checking chats, Shane. I'm going to figure out I threw this in here, but I'm not seeing anyone pop with that particular name here.
All right, we'll keep looking. We will keep looking.
So we got some time. While we're waiting, let's bring on another caller. So we still got some callers here I want to get on. Let's go to Adam Ayala. Wonder if he has any relation to Alex.
Right.
Adam, you're on the show. Can you hear us?
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
We can.
We can. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Pleasure to talk with y'all, and I'm sorry for the circumstances.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's unfortunate, man.
We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, so I'm a psychoanalyst. I've been practicing for, 15 years or so. And I've been hearing you guys talk about people are being brainwashed and this whole kind of thing. And I don't know if you guys have heard about the old term, just much older than psychology or psychoanalysis, called soul murder. Have you guys heard of that?
I haven't.
I'm not familiar, no.
No, so in the 1970s, Schengel, he was a psychoanalyst, wrote a book on it. But like I said, this is very, very old. And I wanted to bring this up to you guys to think of enlighten what's been happening, and that's actually been happening for, I think, a couple of 100 years. It's not just like this kind of sudden shift. In his book, he says that soul murder is neither a diagnosis nor a condition. It's a dramatic term for circumstances that eventuate a crime. The deliberate attempt to eradicate or compromise the separate identity of another person. The victims of soul murder remain in large part possessed by another, their souls in bondage to someone else, right? And that goes beyond brainwashing that like Orwell talks about in 1984, right? You had to have someone who doesn't think, they become brainwashed and hollowed up and filled in by Big Brother, so to speak. And then there's the soul murder. There's this little last piece left, right? And then victims of attempts of soul murder, so not successful all the way, they find it very difficult to be responsible for their mental pictures of themselves. They have no idea who they are themselves, of others, so they can't see others, and of the world around them. So they become completely blind or start projecting whatever their master tells them, really. They often cannot properly register what they want and what they feel, or what they have done, or what has been done to them. So that's like that brainwashing mind erasure.
Yeah, that's crazy. I never heard of that.
Yeah. And then so then this becomes a hostility. This is where I'm kind of getting at with what's happening. It's because of hostility that denies the other's humanity, right? This is what we're seeing, and we've seen all the time what's happening with Charlie, but they're completely denying his humanity. And this usually happens to those who are already under attack. So like in 1984, like the official enemies that were ever changing, right? For instance.
Right.
And even back in this 1887, so over 100 and something years ago, 130 something years ago, 140, Strindberg, I think it was a playwright, gave the title Soul Murder to an article where he said, even though in the Western world specifically, murder was going down, soul murder was going up. And he defined it as taking away a person's reason for living. That was on the increase. What we see is this meaninglessness stuff, right? This is why
nihilism
rose up, and Dr. Peterson, for instance, is rising up and saying, hey, here's this meaning, and they have to knock these people down. And Ferenczi, he was another psychoanalyst, that'd be my last point on it, is that he talking about the abused child, because this book is on abused child, but it's a signal The abused child changes into a mechanical, obedient automaton, but the automaton has murder within.
Dang.
We're seeing, and we've been seeing that for a long time. It's like the thing is, psychoanalysts have known it for forever. It's pre-psychoanalysis. Freud brought it up, right? But it's like we've been seeing this throughout history for a long time. It's like this is actually what we're seeing. Brainwashing is not it. MK Ultra and all that. I mean, they took what the analysts kind of uncovered within the unconscious and the no time in the unconscious and all these things, and abused the crap out of it. That's why the Nazis went and killed all the analysts they could. And then if you could betray them being analysts, well, they took you in pretty quickly.
That's very interesting. My question for you is, so soul murder, looking at it on an individual level, what do you think about soul murder of our nation? Like, well, I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah. So soul murder of our nation, well, it's a soul murder of a whole bunch of people, right? So, it's, like I said, I've only been working for maybe 15 years in a serious way as an analyst all the way, right? But I had mentors who they went and analyzed post-Nazis, so post the war, right? And they talked, and they're the ones who really brought me to understanding and even the idea of soul murder. Say, hey, there's something wrong with this person. It's like they're not. They can take joy. They have unrelenting, undying well of joy from doing one murderous act, right, or one very bad act. I think today Tim Pool, he said like, oh, someone throws off a child off a building, and like it just like it does them no good. There's no way, that doesn't make sense. It's like, no, but that one act gives them eternal joy of doing something evil, right?
Yep.
So you're just seeing this within a whole bunch of people, right, at different levels, right? So there's those who are just brainwashed, people who just don't think, whatever, right? And then those who are at the attempted soul murder, and those who are just completely gone, right? So
well, I think you've got some of these people too that have like, we've hurt for so long, and you've hurt us by not accepting us and all of this shit, that now we just want to sit and watch you hurt, and we're gonna dump the salt in the wound, and we're gonna push the knife and turn it as much as we can for this. And that's, I think, what a lot of what we're seeing out there too is a lot of these. This is the first victory these people have experienced since the election.
It's disgusting.
And they're treating it as such. They're treating it as like, ha ha.
Yep.
We won this time. We got you. How does it feel? And now we're going to sit over. This is their way of trying to just sit over you and act like they've got the upper hand right now.
Yeah, but there's not a you. This is what I'm trying to get at, and what they were trying to get at. There isn't a you. You're not even real. I think Freud, or I forget, it may have been post-Freud, we called it the narcissistic defense, right? Is that you're not really a thing, you're an object. Now culture has caught up to it and said that's main character syndrome, where I'm the only thing that's real and everyone else is just like a sub-character in my mind, right? That's old school narcissistic defense. It's like finally culture caught up to what we've been trying to say, what's the diseases of the population, right? But no, you're not a real person. Charlie Kirk isn't real to any of these people, right? No. So that's why
they've been dehumanized,
right? But it's because they themselves are not real either, and that's a horrible thing. So they'll say, hey, here's a mental health issue. It's like, of course there's mental health issue. There is depression. I work with people who are depressed, anxious, all this thing. But it's like, really, what happens is when I work with people, like when I had to work with pedophiles and things like that when I was a little bit younger in the start, it's like, it wasn't that they were depressed or anxious or PTSD or oppositional defiant or anything like that. That has nothing to do with it, right? They had no ability to think. They were brainwashed, and really, here's the soul murder. There was no one there. That's empty. I think people, and it's a different version of NPC, but it's pretty close to this NPC idea that people are coming up on.
So like, when I went out and caught some pedophiles with Alex Rosen, I wonder if the soul murder is what I was noticing, because like there was a facade of a human. They look like a human, and you're talking to them. You're like, Alex is interrogating them, and they're pretending to be human. But the second they know that they're actually trapped, like an animal like in a trap, they can't move, I noticed their faces literally would change. Like the vacancy in their eyes would happen. Their face would drop. And now I feel like I was actually seeing this like demon trapped in that skin suit, and they were that facade of a human just disappeared. And now we were looking at this thing, and it was such a bizarre thing. And it happened to all of them. And some of them were like normal jobs, conducting a quote unquote normal life, while everything happening behind their eyes was evil and it was going towards one direction. You know, they just want to do that one thing, that evil urge, and that was shocking to me when I saw that look in all their faces when they know they've been caught, and it wasn't like someone being caught like they were guilty.
Yeah.
It was something beyond that. I mean, it was the first time I really started using the word demon seriously. I was like, that's the only word I could use right now. But I'm also applying this idea of soul murder to it as well. Like there's just something, it was inhuman.
Yeah, no, I recommend everyone to really read that book. It's a dense book, it's a heavy book, and then it's going to make you go read a whole bunch of other places. But it's like, this is really what everyone's experiencing. Brainwashing is way too simple. If you know about it, it's not common, it's not what they're using anymore, right? They've evolved past that.
That's true. That's very true. Well, thanks for calling and sharing that with us. We're going to try to get some other callers before we head out for the night. But I wrote that down. I'm going to take a look.
Take it easy.
Thanks, man. Have a good night. Man, soul murder. Awful. Did you happen to see that person pop up?
No.
All right.
No, unfortunately.
Well, we're here. If you're still out there, we'd love to hear from someone on the ground, see what you're hearing. Local reporting is still some good reporting. The corporate outlets are just obviously trash. But when these things happen, I do love seeing what local outlets are saying, because there are still people out there doing good work. And you don't always have to have been there in a Douglas Murray way. But if you're a good person trying to do actual good work, it does help to be there and take that temperature of the area. You know, you're on the ground, you're hearing what the authorities are saying, you're hearing the rumors, you're hearing from the locals. It can be very helpful in good reporting, which is so rare these days.
We got a shout out from Mark to super fans, Kathy, Jay, and of course Renee. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Remember to live like Charlie did. Time to be brave and resist evil.
That's it.
Indeed. All right.
Trying to look for updates while you get another call.
Well, so here's the other thing. We have this NASA Life on Mars thing.
Oh, it's like I want to talk about it. I just break my microphone. I want to talk about it so bad. Maybe we do just do that really quick.
I say let's get it, like, because we got to say something about it.
I know. It's like this happened the morning of yesterday morning.
Yeah. This was originally supposed to be on yesterday's show.
So for context, like, was it Tuesday? They had the UFO hearing, and you know, not a lot of stuff in there as to be expected. And they did have a video. We pulled up the video that night. Then the next morning, NASA has a press conference that says they found life on Mars. Do you have that tweet still of the video?
Yeah.
Let's pull that up. We'll show them that. And this obviously is just buried. And I have a lot of feelings about it, but let's take a look.
And the scientific community that will, in essence, pressure test what we think we've found. So we're talking about Perseverance. This was a mission sent to Mars under President Trump's first presidency. And a year ago, we found a sample, and it was, again, we're exploring in places where there were rivers and where there were lakes. And much as on Earth, we think that that's where we'd see signs of ancient life on Mars. And so a year ago, we thought we found what we believe to be signs of microbial life on the Mars surface. And so we put it out to our scientific friends
just like
to pressure test it,
microbial,
to analyze
microbial
it,
life.
and go.
Do you even believe this guy? It just sounds like he's making it up. I don't know. But you believe we got life on Mars? You believe in Mars?
I mean, I've been told that I've seen it a few times by someone.
Yeah, but those pictures...
And I kind of just agreed with him because it matched the visual description of what I saw through a telescope. All
of NASA pictures are fake.
I mean, I'm assuming if you don't believe in the moon, then there's probably zero chance that you believe in any of the other
this guy's
quote-unquote celestial bodies that are floating around our sun.
I think there's stuff up there. Not as much as they say, and not as old as they say. This just seemed like a ridiculous
Have you
story.
ever... I'm honestly curious. Have you ever just, like, looked?
Yeah.
You ever gone to, like, a...
oh, yeah.
What the hell is the word I'm looking for right now? Astronomy, you know.
Oh, yeah, I've done a lot of that. I
planetarium, that's what I'm thinking of.
I
Planetarium.
I think things are up there. I just don't think that they're telling us what they really are. And all the NASA photos we have are just like collections of multiple photos put together, data put together, than renditions of stuff. You know, every single one of them. But let's hear the rest, and then we'll get into it.
Did we get this right? Do we think this is signs of ancient life on Mars? And after a year of review, they've come back and they said, listen, we can't find another explanation. So this very well could be the clearest sign of life that we've ever found on Mars. And
very well could be. Doesn't sound like they know anything either.
It also sounds like they've known that they haven't known anything for over a year now.
Yeah. Yeah, right. They've had it for a while. I just think this is like this would have been a huge story, obviously buried, and rightfully so. But we had headlines for hours saying life on Mars.
I appreciate his giddy optimism.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
I don't know that we should be taking it for anything more than just that right now.
Yeah, and they're saying they found what could be ancient microbial life. So some ancient life form that was once on Mars. And what does that mean? Like something existed there and died off?
Essentially, yeah.
Or did something, if we're going to go with space, and that's a real thing, did something get there on a comet and crash there and then die? Like what is, because there's people who think that about us on Earth.
Yeah, we got a
Scientologist.
Freaking comet coming right
Tom
now,
Cruise.
shaking its fist at us.
Right. We haven't even talked about the aggressive probe in so long. That's taking a back seat, and for unfortunate reasons. But that is the space stuff is ramping up. We've been talking about all this space news for months, and we had for those who are new to the show, we've been talking about this Harvard professor Avi Loeb, who keeps telling us that these are his words. An aggressive probe. Sometimes he says it's a hostile probe. And it's heading towards Earth, and every week there's a new thing about it. It was emitting its own light source, and then it was nuclear powered. And then just the other day, he told us that it could actually have many, many probes in it that will detach and then visit the planet. This is a Harvard professor who just did like a podcast with Anna Polina Luna.
Loeb on the probe is what I've been calling him.
Totally forgot about all that stuff.
It's hilarious to say.
It's a
Loeb on the
burger.
probe. Say
it's a nothing. But we'll see.
That's the phrase for tonight, people. I know we only got about 18 minutes left, but Loeb on the probe is your cue to tip him back.
But yeah, there's some people who truly believe it's coming and it's a real thing, and there's other people who think it's nothing, and I think I'm in the latter camp. But who knows? I think they're ramping up that news. It's taking a back seat, but it's not going anywhere.
The other thing I want to remind everybody, too, is there are a lot of distractions out there right now.
Yeah.
More than there were yesterday.
Yeah.
More than there were the day before that.
It's going to get worse.
Obviously, too, in the wake of everything that's been going on, we have to also recognize the fact that it's been 24 years since thousands of us were taken in another terrorist attack on our soil. And we are still trying to remember those people. There are still people that are grieving from that loss today, on top of this now mournful kind of overtone, rather, that's been spread across our nation in the last 24 to 48 hours. So if we've learned anything on this date in years prior to this, it's that we do stand together, the ones of us that want to, in the end. And we know how to pick ourselves back up. We know how to get back on our feet. And we know how to keep moving on. It's the one thing that we do as a country. It's the one thing that I'm proud of us most for as a people, is that we continue to move forward. And we are going to do that together, as we have done since the beginning of this country, make no mistake, because that's all that we can do. So
totally agree.
Everybody hang in there. To all the people who have lost somebody or are feeling lost or are feeling like that right now, you're not alone. There are a lot of people out there right now that are with you in that. And knowing that alone should help you feel just a little bit stronger today. So keep that in mind.
God, yeah, it was crazy. I was an hour and a half north of New York City when I went down in I think I was in 10th grade, and so like a lot of people in our high school, their parents worked in the city, and really crazy to experience that. We lived next to a military base, and there was a nuclear power plant across the river, the Hudson River. And so everyone was telling us they're going to bomb us next or something. That was like, you're telling the students, the adults were telling us, like, we got to be careful. It's coming for us.
Well, now what? We got people talking about, was he saying in Utah, was it, that there was going to be that guy we talked to earlier?
Yeah.
They were threatening bombings and school shootings and shit like that. It sucks because this is part of this. You're going to get more of this. You're going to get more people that are like, yeah, now watch what we do next. We're going to do it tomorrow. And they're just, it's hard to, you can't just take it with a grain of salt. There has to be some preventative measures put in place to keep yourself safe from shit like this. But you also can't not trust the fact that these people will deliver on this shit too. So it's really hard to know what to listen to, but you have to keep your ears and your eyes open and moving at all times right now. Like I said, just track everything that you're doing, track everything that you're reading, just prove it, do what you got to do, and then do it again. Make sure that you're reading something that's real.
And there are people out there who are going to take advantage of this tragedy and do harm to us.
And have been since the minute Charlie Kirk hit the floor.
Yep. And just like what they did with 9/11, that's an episode for another day of all the things I think about 9/11. But we can all agree that they used that to force the Patriot Act on us and just begin to further erode our rights and our privacy. And that was bad. And now we're back at it. And I think a lot of those conversations are going to come back to the surface. Like I was saying the other day, I guarantee there'll be people out there starting to debate whether or not we should sign up for some sort of pre-crime surveillance state, like the UK is starting to roll out with their pre-crime homicide unit, where they use massive data collection agencies to make profiles of everything you do, which they're probably already doing anyway, and then using that to decide if you are going to commit a crime. And before you do it, they might apprehend you. I'm not into that at all. Venti01, appreciate that chat. They had a test using radioisotope that the bacteria parted out. All the scientists said this would prove current life. When the test came back, they said it proves nothing. 70s or 80s prob to Mars. I'm not sure what the second part was.
Me either, but thank you.
2070s. Let's try for another caller, shall we?
Yeah, we got time. We're going to try to get to at least one more person tonight. Again, like, subscribe, share the show with everybody you know. Smash that like button like Tim says. And we are going to try to go to... let's bring on Candy.
Let's do it. Just trying to see if there's anything.
Candy, welcome back to the show.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Hey there, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Yeah, we're just here, but we're happy to hear from you, and thanks for joining us.
Sorry, my dog's barking in the backyard.
That's all right. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, the whole thing with Charlie is super crazy.
Yeah, to say the least.
The one thing that kind of messed me up a little bit was not watching what happened, but watching other people be upset about it. That kind of messed me up a lot.
Yeah, it's terrible. He was close to a lot of people.
Watching grown men cry actually messes me up a lot. I'm trying not to cuss, so.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And then having to watch a bunch of people celebrate right after that too is also kind of...
Oh my God.
Deranged.
Extra kick when you're done.
Disgusting.
Well, at least there's some people out there trying to combat that. A lot of people have been fired today, so that's good.
Yep.
As they should be.
Milo has, I've seen pilots getting fired.
Yeah.
Screw these people. It's disgusting.
Well, they canceled us for a long time, so.
Yeah, no, I mean, these people suck. They shouldn't be in charge of anything. If you're this bloodthirsty, why should you be trusted with a job?
I wouldn't trust anyone like that.
No, not at all. But yeah, it's been really, really tough. Really tough. Seeing people get. I mean, it's bound to happen. It's hard to not be emotional about this. And you know, what really got me today, I've been trying not to say it, but I'm going to share it anyway, and I'll try to say it without breaking up. But I believe this is true. But people were saying, and I'm sure a lot of you already heard it, but like his family was there, according to a lot of reports and according to a senator. And allegedly, his daughter was scared of the sound and ran to her father.
Oh,
And that is like, that is the worst, absolute
that
worst
makes it 10 times
feeling.
worse. However many times worse.
But I mean, I can't. It's having a hard time getting through that right now. But like my wife, when I told her that, she was like, I mean, it's horrible, but it just said what kind of father he was.
Exactly. I told that to my husband today. I was like, look at all the videos of his baby running to him. Like, I want my daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And
awful.
that's all you need to know about him, really.
Awful. It's so awful. These people are so sick. To think of the people cheering for it, to think of this lunatic on the loose, and whoever else may or may not have helped him. It's just crazy.
I'm a little bit weirded out by the fact that we have no information, but
Yeah,
just like you guys were talking about earlier, like you kind of got to wait it out and see what you find and what you believe is real and what seems real and what you know isn't.
And these things move slow too, even in history. But
Absolutely,
you know, we live in a day and a time of I want it right now. Especially when things like this happen.
Of course we do. We got a computer in our hand.
And I think that's why we got a press conference from the FBI tonight. It's because they knew they needed to give us something, and they didn't really have much to give, except a little CCTV footage. We kind of knew that we had the shooter on the roof and whatever, almost immediately following this incident. So hopefully, this is one of those situations where we got to remember it's only been 24 hours, plus, and we got to be patient for a little bit longer before we're going to get some answers. But hopefully the information they gave out can point some people in the right direction to finding this guy.
Absolutely.
Yep. Would you want to share anything else?
Well, I wanted to ask you what I wanted to ask you, or a 9/11 story.
Oh,
mine's not as drastic, but I was a teenager. I was in high school when it happened. So
yeah, same.
Me too. Yeah, go ahead, fill us in.
Yep.
So I'm from Vegas. My parents, like, that year, my mom had divorced my dad, so we had just like moved over across town, and I refused at that point as a teenager to listen to the news. I would watch it, and if something came up that I wanted to hear about, I would turn the volume on. Well, that day I was in the living room watching it, doing my hair or whatever, and I'm watching it happen. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And of course I unmuted. Nothing. There's nothing. I'm not hearing anything. So 2 hours later, I get to school, because think about it. I'm on West Coast time, so this is happening.
Yeah.
Everyone's already at work and everything. Right. So I'm just starting my day.
Right.
And my mom's still at work. So at this point I had a cell phone, which is weird because she was like, you're going to have a cell phone. I need to know where you are. Paranoid mom, which makes sense.
Yep.
But she calls me at school. I'm like, Mom, you're going to get me in trouble. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, Mom, I'm not in New York. It's fine. But I still don't know what's going on. And she had to tell me. And I was like, none of my friends knew either, because they were like, did you see that? I'm like, yeah. But what was that? Whoa. So like it took a long time for me at that age, a teenage age, to be like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
But that was like probably one of the craziest things I ever witnessed. Also, I was in high school during Columbine too, and everyone freaked out the next year too. So I'm like, come on.
Yeah, I was like a little. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I have admitted it already. And thanks to Milo, he's throwing the pictures up on Twitter. But I was that gothic kid in 8th grade. So when Columbine happened, it was like me and my ridiculous looking friends were all like public enemy #1 in our small town, because they were like, oh, those kids look like, even though we didn't look like the other kids. But the media made you think it was Marilyn Manson, and they made you think it was like gothic kids.
It's crazy. You make it sound like it's been going on for decades.
I know, right? Yeah. It's so interesting how that works. I thought they just started lying.
It's new.
Yeah, it's crazy to experience those things at that age. Like, I remember...
We had no social media back then, by the way.
Right. Yeah.
Very little.
We weren't dealing
Very,
with that.
very
This
little.
was you had to go knock on someone's door, or call them on the phone and talk to their
Yep.
parents.
AOL, come on.
Yep. Dial up 56K, waking your parents up. I had to smother my computer with a pillow if I wanted to sign on to AOL at 12 o'clock.
Def, you said Shane was listening to Korn. Yeah, obviously. Big time. But like, I remember, so thinking about the death penalty really quick, and we don't have to get into the whole debate, but we're just talking about TV and how that like affects you when you're young. I remember feeling disgusted watching the Timothy McVeigh reporting of the day he died. And I remember coming home from school and watching it, like everything was taken over by the McVeigh execution. And that story is also crazy. We've done an Oklahoma City bombing episode on here.
Well, being from Vegas, I have a lot of stories like that.
Ooh. Oh, I'd imagine.
And like
but
all kinds of stuff.
It was so ghoulish watching the news outlets like tell you what he was eating.
That's
and all that
creepy.
Stuff. And it's just disgusting. And then you could look up and see when they were executing Ted Bundy, and I just thought it was weird. I mean, screw that guy. But like, also weird to see people literally tailgate outside the where they killed him and selling
like
merch.
fanboy and fangirling about it. It's like weird.
It was very weird. People are just we're weird. But yeah, those are some early memories of me and TV. We all have them. We all have them.
I only watch Rumble and YouTube on TV.
Awesome. That's what I don't even have a TV. I have no TV.
Well, I can't get away with it. My husband's almost a senior, so
it's insane now having to have all these streaming platforms and pay for like local TV and stuff like that. Watching football is such a pain in the ass right now. I can't handle it.
I have an antenna, so my husband gets so mad. He's like, "Damn it! I have to watch it on ESPN, like on my app."
Yep. Doing the same thing.
Yep.
Feel the pain.
Well, you should call in again and share some of those OKC stories when we get some time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, it was good to hear from you. Thank you.
Thanks, Candy.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. Well, should we try one more? I think we should do one more.
If you want to.
Let's do one more.
All right.
I know we'll probably go a little over, but we'll keep it quick. And we just want to try to get to as many of you as possible. I'm sure there's probably a lot we didn't get to. But hopefully you'll want to call back on Monday. We'll be back on Monday at 10 o'clock.
All right, let's bring on Steph.
Are you there?
Getting some join lag here.
Uh-oh.
Good old-fashioned join lag from Zoom.
Oh, goodness.
I seen somebody earlier was just like, what the hell is wrong with using a regular phone nowadays? And I'm just like, dude, it's so much more complicated.
It would be awesome.
Like, we have issues like this, and this sucks sometimes when, like, we have somebody, not everybody has the best internet connection, or, is calling from a phone or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But it still ends up being infinitely easier to deal with than an actual phone and a series of callers.
There is a phone somewhere on this property that me, Tim, and his brother were looking at. I think Chris even had it set up that we were like, we're going to have an actual phone one day. And Chris got like an old phone. Like you had to hold the
rotary phone?
No,
Yeah.
not even a rotary phone.
Oh, the old
one
with
you
the
pick it up
latch.
with the earpiece.
Yeah.
And you're holding it. I was like, the only thing was Tim was like, you're going to want to hold it like that the whole time? I was like, yeah. But then I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. I might not want to hold the phone like this the whole time.
it would not
but it would
have
look
lasted.
hilarious.
Steph, can you hear us, Steph?
Yes.
Hey there.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Oh, I can't believe it. I'm calling because, I plugged in the my headset because you said, is there anyone out there who was alive during the Kennedy assassination? And since I'm an old geezer, I was alive. The only thing is I was 5 years old. So, I remember where I was, but you don't, when you're 5 years old, you don't have the apprehension of geopolitical stuff.
Right.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But as a 5-year-old, you were then coming of age in the aftermath of that.
Yes.
And like you inherited that world. So tell us what you remember at all when you were 5, and then kind of how that was growing up and learning about it.
The big thing was communism. Communism was the big threat, and it was in everybody's mind. And now you wouldn't recognize the United States. Or I'm calling from Canada. I'm a Canadian. I'm sorry, I'm Canadian. But
Oh, it's okay.
I'm not sorry, but that's not my fault that these scumbags.
I was like, you don't have to apologize for being Canadian, man. It's okay, dude.
Well, because before that other guy was saying, the French language, and
Oh.
offended by that one,
No, man,
that
you're
French,
good.
You English pig, No, well,
that's
because
okay.
I live beside Quebec, so it's easy.
We have like a 2
Quebecois,
Canadian caller limit on the show, so we're glad you got in tonight.
Yeah, we've never reached this many Canadians in one call before. So
Wow, that's great. That's great. No, I can't believe you let me in.
Oh, we're
That's
glad.
pretty good.
No, this is awesome. I'm glad
thanks
we took
for being
another
here,
caller.
man. We appreciate it.
So yeah, communism was the big thing for sure. You had the Red Scare.
And I remember I'm from Toronto, and I was a little kid. My parents sent me to Buffalo, to a camp just outside Buffalo called Camp Derby. And so I was with all these American kids, and I felt like I was just one of you guys. I was like 10 or something, or 9. And I was just completely immersed in Buffalo and, Camp Derby. And it didn't occur to me even that I was Canadian. It wasn't a thing. But I got into some arguments with some other American kids, and one guy was older than me, and we turned out to be really good friends. And because I was for Nixon, because my parents were for Nixon.
Right.
And so, during the summer of 1968, the campaign was on, and Nixon was, trying to become president. And because my parents were, Nixon people, and I was obviously a Nixon person, because so these other guys, no, Nixon's no good, because he's going to let the communists win in Vietnam. We have to vote for a Democrat, because Johnson is going to fight communism, and Nixon wants to end the war. And so they were upset with me for being on Nixon's side, because Nixon's going to end the war, and then the commies are going to take over the world.
Right.
And I know we're all 10 years old, but we were a reflection of what our parents are saying at home.
Of course.
I mean, I know I was, and so probably they were too. And they weren't dumb. I mean, these are 2 brothers, an older and a younger brother, who I became really good friends with. I mean, we don't see each other now, but anyway. So yeah, so communism was the big thing, and if you go by the media, it's completely gone. The media just, they don't show that at all. They just, they censor that completely out of the equation.
Right.
And the other thing is, a lot of people were not big fans of Kennedy, and the biggest fans of John F. Kennedy was the media. The media loved John F. Kennedy because he was good looking, but a lot of Americans and Canadians didn't like Kennedy at all.
No, they were obsessed with the Kennedy family. A lot of people were,
Yeah. I mean, he fooled around with women in the White House, behind the back of one of the most beautiful women on the planet, right, that he was married to, which a lot of people felt really disgusted by. Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, he pulls America's sweetheart on top of his wife. It's like, what? Yeah.
And the Bay of Pigs, and the Bay of Pigs is a huge disaster, and what nobody knows today, what young people don't. I'm 67, okay, but what young people don't realize today is the Bay of Pigs is the reason for 2 big things that happened simultaneously. We only hear about the Cuban Missile Crisis, but we don't hear about the Berlin Wall. They were both done simultaneously by Khrushchev, because he saw Kennedy screw up in the Bay of Pigs. He didn't have the backbone to take down the communists in Cuba for some reason. Right. I don't know why, but he made the decision not to use. There was an aircraft carrier that had, I think, 16 A4s on it, about 200 miles south of Cuba, and the Navy thought we're going to get involved. And he deliberately called them and said, no, stand down. We don't want to do this. He only allowed 8 World War II bombers to go and attack Castro's Air Force, which wasn't enough. And Castro had jets, so they just shot down those guys. Americans were shot down because they wanted to do something. The Navy was told to stand down. And then the whole thing was 1,500 Cuban expatriates were basically killed by Castro.
Yeah, it's so crazy. That's such a crazy time.
And the media doesn't talk about it. The media, they're always talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis in a vacuum. But, you know, the Bay of Pigs was the whole reason for it, because Khrushchev saw this guy's got no backbone. He's giving us the green light, so we're going to do two things simultaneously: put nuclear missiles in Cuba and build the Berlin Wall, so nobody can escape from West Berlin. And West Berlin is in the center of a communist country then, East Germany. So the geographic location of West Berlin is also something the media doesn't want us to see, so they never show you maps.
It's too complex. They don't want you to
No,
understand
it's not complex. They
complexity.
don't want people to understand. West Berlin was a free zone in the middle of a communist donut.
Right.
And they don't want people to see that. So they deliberately they obfuscate that. And that's a key thing to remember. So of course a lot of people were grieving when Kennedy was shot, because he's a good-looking guy. He was cut down in his youth, sort of. I mean, he wasn't that old.
Yeah.
It was a terrible thing, of course.
Yep.
We were all stunned by it. But,
when
it wasn't like today where there was, because Charlie Kirk's assassination, a lot of people are saying this could lead to a civil war. There was no possibility of a civil war in the 60s. There was, if anything, there was like, let's go kill the Russians. Some people are saying that report on the assassination made it, look like Oswald did the shooting because they didn't want a war with the Soviet Union. I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you what we heard. But anyway.
So you were like 4 years older, maybe you were 9 when the Manson murders happened?
I was born in 58, so the Manson murders,
you were
when
9.
did they happen? 67?
No, I mean, I think 68 or 69. I could be wrong. So you were a little older for that. Like, do you have memory of how that was and how that affected your community?
Yeah, I mean, I was horrified by it, and generally speaking, my brother and I, who were growing up here in Toronto, we looked at, like, I'm what you call the second wave baby boomers. The first wave baby boomers are the what's his name? The Rolling Stones. They're the second wave. They're the first wave baby boomers.
Like Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger, exactly.
Yeah.
So Mick Jagger was born in 1945. So all the baby boomers were all the babies that were born when the soldiers came back, and and were glad that the war was over. So there was like a huge explosion of kids all over the place.
Yeah.
I was born in 58, so I'm a late, like the second wave. It's called the second wave baby boomers. And we were looking at the first wave baby boomers. I'm saying this in retrospect. I didn't realize it at the time, but we were looking at the 20-somethings, and they were all a bunch of radical, long-haired hippie freaks doing drugs, throwing rocks at police, throwing Molotov cocktails at police. It was just mayhem. And as a 10-year-old, you're looking at this on TV, and you're going, Jesus, I hope I don't do this when I'm 20. I hope I don't want to grow up like these guys. It was really radical, totally beyond control, but it wasn't civil war. It was like the older people or the normal people are saying, what is wrong with these hippies? What is wrong with these weirdos?
Yep.
And if you watch newsreels from Woodstock, you get a good whiff of what that was like. And it was ubiquitous, right?
Yep.
But civil war didn't come up. The big thing was, what are we going to do about communism?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you so much for calling in and sharing that. It's amazing that we had someone out there listening and able to give us some context to that. And call back at some other time. Love to hear from you again. Appreciate it.
okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Have a good night. I want to shout out David Flora. Thank you for sending that chat in. 343 brothers of whom I never met gave their lives. I was a 21-year-old fireman and watched as the towers fell, knowing who were inside. Watching Charlie invoked the same emotions as 9/11. Yeah. It's just totally unreal that we're here. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're really glad you were here. Really glad to hear from everybody. We really appreciate the calls. And I just keep praying for his family, and pray we get some answers. That would be great. But thank you for joining us. And Brandon, let him know what's up.
Yeah, quick thank you to everybody who called in. All the people we didn't get to, feel free to call back next week. We'll try to get to you then if we can. Big shout out to everybody for hanging out with us the whole night here. Smash that like button again, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Spam the chat with American flags. Stand together with each other through the pain and keep getting on. Don't forget to stay American and stay weird this weekend, and can't wait to see you guys next week. We'll see you then. Shane, get us out of here.
Thanks again, guys. We got to remain vigilant, and we got to be strong, and just keep fighting for truth and for this country. We believe in it. We believe in each other. We believe in ourselves. We know right from wrong, and keep your head on a swivel. And again, remain suspicious of all the news out there and influencers, anybody who is trying to be the authority on the truth before we know what's up. It's happening, and it's happening a lot, and it's very important because they want to capture your mind. But I wish you guys all a very safe weekend, and we will see you on Monday. Have a great night.